Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ranting Atheist podcast. I hope you had a great week. Today on Story of an Atheist, I'd like to share a recording of the conversation I had with a fellow Nigerian atheist. And she shares her story, her deconversion story, of how she logged out of this religion palaver. So let's go and listen to the conversation that we had a few weeks ago. Hello Rita, and you're welcome to Story of an Atheist.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us the time today on such short notice.
My pleasure.
All right.
Sure.
So what I'll be doing now, will just be, I'll be asking you some questions and we'll be gisting back and forth. So that's the way it will go today. So you understand?
That's right.
All right. So what I'll start with now is your name. Let's get to know you. Your location, where are you based, then your age. Now, you might not want to give your age. I know Nigerians, we don't like sharing age. So I usually give people option. Millennial or Gen Z. Where do you belong? Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah. So, my name is Rita. I don't think my last name is very important.
Nah, it's okay.
I'm a medical student.
Okay.
So that's that's really what I spend most of my time doing. Studying for school or on social media causing trouble, it's one of the two.
Okay.
I'm one of the late Gen Zs, so I'm like the very first set of Gen Zs within that range. So I'm 21. I don't really have an issue giving out my age.
Okay.
So I'm 21.
All right. So can you share with us your religious background? What was it like? Your religious upbringing?
Oh, okay. So I grew up Christian.
Okay.
I go to Mountain of Fire.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, it was a very dogmatic kind of Christianity.
Yes.
And it has very close resemblance to Deeper Life.
Yeah.
In a sense.
True that.
So they had a lot of extremism in it when it came to spirituality. And like a lot of them had it was a very toxic space. That's the easiest way to put it. I mean, it was a lot. I don't know if some of them were mentally unwell, but I will not diagnose anybody because a lot of things now that I have left and I'm looking at it with this outside lens, a lot of things did not make sense.
At all.
And shouldn't make sense to anybody that is thinking.
I'm telling you.
When you grow up in that kind of space, it just kind of makes sense. Like I remember arguing with one of my friends who's a Catholic, and we were talking about demons and witches. So he was telling me that he doesn't believe that all those things exist. And to me then it was just like weird. Like how can anybody not believe that demons and witches exist? You get?
Yeah.
I was like, are you in Nigeria? Do you live in this country? I was like, how can you live in this country and not believe that demons and witches exist? And then he was like, have you ever seen them? And I'm like, no, but you always hear stories.
Exactly.
There's always stories going on. So I was like, yes, but there's this story and that story and this story and that story. And he was like, why is it always stories? Why is it that we never see these people? And I feel like that was the first time anybody ever questioned the belief in demons or witches. Like someone that was close to me and I valued their contribution. So that was the first time someone that was close to me questioned that line of reasoning. Because imagine going your whole life. I think I was like 17 then. So imagine 17 years here, right?
Yeah.
And you just told that this thing is true, even when you've never seen it, even when you don't have any reason to believe it. It's just very weird, the kind of things that indoctrination can really do.
So powerful.
So yeah.
So goddamn powerful. So now, what do you identify as? Are you an atheist? Are you an agnostic? Or what do you usually identify as?
I'm an atheist.
Why don't you do agnostic?
I don't know. I see, this is the thing. The way I view this agnostic position is that why do you want to open up room for the exist? We're not agnostic about the existence of unicorns. Yeah. So we don't say that we don't know whether unicorns exist, or because we don't see unicorns, we don't have any reason to believe unicorns exist. Yeah. So why should I hold an agnostic position about God either? I mean, I used to be deist at the point. I didn't know what deism was then, obviously, but I used to hold that position that it's possible that this creator guy is out there, but he doesn't like interfere with our activities.
Yeah,
but now I just felt like exactly. Now I'm just like, man, fuck it, like I swear.
Yeah, you're not listening to my podcast, okay. It's fuckery, fuck. It's strictly E. There's E on it, so I didn't give for one in that. Guns will fly here, please. Feel free.
Okay. Well, I was just like, man, there's no need to try and be civil about this thing. This guy, there's really no reason why we should believe your word exists. Like, I'm very, very. I don't take the agnostic position. I never even considered it. It was either this or that. Something cannot hang in the balance about things that we can see. So yeah.
Agnostics, they just put it like, I don't know. So until you prove, I'll be like, I don't know if there is, or it kind of gives this and these the hope, but let everybody choose what they want. That's the whole point of being free from this religious thinking. That's be free.
I feel like the only thing that even makes me discuss my position with people is maybe on Twitter. When people actually want, because I try to avoid it, especially with my friends and stuff like that. I don't like discussing my atheism with people that I know. But sometimes when I tell them, they would want to have a discussion with me to try and convince me why I'm following the wrong path, and then it just gets tricky. Like I was talking to this guy just a couple of days ago. This is the most recent one. Like just this, and he saw my tweet because I gave him my Twitter handle.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, so you're an atheist?" And I was like, "Yes." Is that an issue? He was like, no, it's just that he has never met anybody that is an atheist. And I was like, well, nice to meet you. And then he was like, oh. And then he was like, why are you an atheist? And I was like, well, because I am. Like, I don't want to go into this with you because I already knew where it was going to go.
Yes.
And the next thing, he called me and he gave me this long talk about, he said he did this course in theology and shit like that. And I was like, oh, that's so nice to hear, blah, blah, blah. Like, I really did not want to have this discussion with him, but he kept pushing it. And then I was like, okay, can I just respond to the things that he was bringing up? Because he was saying things about bad witches and good witches and that. And it was just a lot of rubbish. And I was just like, let me just clarify some things. Not even on my position in atheism. He was talking about witchcraft. And me, it was the time I was interested in witchcraft, so I know a bit about it. So I was just like, let me just correct these notions. And just correcting his notions of what witchcraft was. It spiraled into a whole fight. He was shouting at the top of his voice. I was shouting at the top of my voice. And we haven't spoken ever since. So
wow.
I really don't like going into with people around me. I wouldn't bring it up. But if you say that, oh, by all means, you must discuss this thing with me, then so be it. I will talk about it. Because I'm not afraid of my position. I'm just like, I don't like, because it gets people very heated for no reason.
Yes.
And they just want to fight.
Yeah. They are first of all shocked. Like, atheists. Like, are you serious? They look at this Oyinbo thing. And I ask them that, come, this Christianity, don't you say now Oyinbo bring and come? Abi, no. They'll have say no. It's so...
It's horrible. There was this guy. We're talking. He's on my Twitter. We still don't follow each other. So we've hung out like a couple of times. And then there was this time we were hanging out together. And then he was like, can we talk about my atheism? Because I'm always like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't talk about it. So like, that's just not the thing I talk about. But he was so pressed. He was like, he really wants to talk about it. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. So this guy brought out his Bible, no jokes. and he started preaching to me. I was like, God, please don't preach to me. I'm begging you. Please don't preach to me. No, he was like, no, that I should just give him a chance. I should give it a chance. I was like, okay. Sat down there and I let this guy preach for something that felt like maybe 30 minutes. He was opening scripture, telling me this and telling me that. Anytime I tried to ask a question, he would tell me I should just let him finish. I let him finish. When he finished, I was like, okay, I have a couple of things I just want to address. All the preaching was preaching. Because, there were a lot of problematic concepts that would come up.
Yeah.
So I started going through them, and he got so angry. And then at the point, he was not like that. He doesn't even know why he hangs out with me, that I'm probably the reason why he's experiencing problems.
The
guy, the way I start talking to him, now he hits me up like every now and then. He's like that he's sorry now. This one, that one, this one, now. I'm like, sorry for yourself. Like, sorry for yourself, for real, because what? He was like that he has to start doing his fast and all of that he has to start fasting and blah, 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 blah. And maybe like all the problems in his life that he cannot come and add another problem. And this one. I was like, guy, like, fuck you.
Indoctrination, fuck.
Rubbish. Anyway, I no longer waste my time. If you feel like this is such a big deal for you, it's fine. I don't feel the need to press on or push for anything. So yeah.
Okay. Now wow, it's crazy. So moving on now. Can you give us your own definition of atheism? What do you define atheism as?
I mean, simple. I think I use the same dictionary definition. Like, it is believe in a god or any supreme being. That's it. I think. Is there any other definition?
No, people can interpret it differently. So I always like to know.
I know, sir.
No. So you have to know where the other person is coming from, especially if you are dealing with theists, Christians, and believers. Those are the definition is always shocking. All manners. So that's why you always need to come from their own angle, because if you come from your own angle, they will say you are not addressing the issue. You become a straw man. Create a straw man without any attempt.
Sure.
I remember you told me that when you were arguing with a Catholic, was that when you started when the person what do you say about the whole stories of witches? Was that where you began to question, or when did you begin to question?
No.
Then
question. I didn't question anything there.
Okay, so can you start with how you started questioning, then started deconstructing before you finally crossed over?
Right.
So take us on the whole journey.
You know the funny thing. I don't know if you know these people like African Americans on Twitter that pose as Black Israelites and Hoteps and all of those people.
What the?
I don't know if you've come across that section of Twitter.
At all.
So they believe in like black supremacy. They know a lot about Egyptian traditions and worship and all of that stuff.
Okay.
They talk about the god Horus, they talk about Ra and all those gods. So I met the guy that was like that, and he was a cool guy. We were friends. We used to talk, and he was African American.
Yeah.
So I was Nigerian. So when he met me, he was like expecting me. So my name is I'm Yoruba Edo.
Okay.
So he knows I was Yoruba. So he was trying to understand Yoruba religion and Yoruba spirituality.
Okay.
And he was not asking me about it. So then I was just like, why would you expect him to know about the Ifa tradition? I was like, are you not Yoruba? Like, why don't you know about your traditional worship? And he made me like, then I was just like, of course, I mean, this is something I should know about on a normal day.
Yeah.
On a day when colonization and all this bullshit doesn't exist, why don't I know about the Ifa tradition?
True.
So like, this is something I should know about. But then he was like, how don't you know about it that, like you guys are licking the white man's asshole and blah, 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 blah. And then he was spinning me. I was like, guy, what do you mean by licking the white man's asshole? But he was speaking some valid points, man. He was like that you have to step out of this colonized mindset and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hey. And then I was just, I used to troll him. So then he used to, talk about, worshiping white Jesus.
Yeah.
And he said that a black woman with kinky hair will bow down and be worshiping white with no shit. I was like, you guys, he was like, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, he legit used to tell me that I should be ashamed for, worshiping white Jesus. And I was like, I was one of those people that used to be like, well, Jesus wasn't white. He was he was Caucasian or he was Middle Eastern or whatever. Then he would be like, aren't Middle Eastern people white? Like, like they're actually like they're white. They're just white people with a little bit of a tan from the sun, and all of a sudden they're not white. I don't even understand. But anyway, that was like the first time somebody legit thought it was funny that I was a Christian. Like, they didn't see it as a normal thing. They didn't expect me to be a Christian.
Wow.
So that was the first time I ever approached somebody that like thought it was weird that I was a Christian. They didn't think that it was something I should be. So in that case, I was like, okay, let me try. And I remember that night very well. I opened my laptop and I was like, where does this Bible thing even come from? And why are Nigerians Christian? So I found this history something on YouTube. Like, there's this guy, I've forgotten the name of his page, but he makes like cartoons, and it's Nigerian cartoons. So he was talking about the history of the transatlantic slavery and all of that, and how Christianity in particular came to Nigeria. So he talked about it. There was even a letter from the Catholic Church that said that Black people did not have souls, hence they could be used as slaves and stuff like that. And because the church didn't want to attach themselves to that kind of industrial slavery, sort of, but because they had the backing of the Catholic Church, they were able to do it. So all those things that seemed very, very suspicious. And that was around the time I was also in my angry feminist stage. So I used to engage in all this. I feel like everything in life, man, like everything when it comes to like social justice, you always have that angry face. Even as an atheist.
That's why I'm the ranting atheist. I'm my angry face.
So like I had that angry feminist phase where I used to just go online and just look for men to look for their trouble and so like I used to do that a lot. And then people would be like, because I remember that time in my bio I had God first. So people would be like, how are you a Christian woman? And you believe that you're equal to men, and niggas will legit use it as a talking point as to why they don't believe equality is the thing. I remember this guy, he's famous on apologetics Twitter. I've forgotten his name now, but like he's somebody that we interact with on Christian apologetics Twitter all the time. Okay. So he was like that. Do feminists think that God didn't know what he was doing when he made us inferior to men?
Whoa.
And he said it like unironically.
Like it was a normal, like a dropping wisdom.
Yeah. Like he was not dropping wisdom, he was dropping facts. So the thing is that I like my arguments to kind of make some sense. I know that not all the time we can construct good arguments in our heads. Right? I like to make some sense. Now, these people were making sense. I didn't like what they were saying, but they were making sense. I didn't like it. And just because you don't like something doesn't mean the person is lying. So they were making points, they were making valid points, and they were using the Bible, something that I believe in, to back up their misogynistic rhetoric. So I didn't like it, but I mean, they were not wrong. So I started questioning shit, and I feel like it was because of that. That was really the ginger, because the anger that I was coming with from this feminism thing, and then all the questioning I've been doing so far, because I think I got to the point where I was a DS. So I don't school in Nigeria. I need to add that.
Okay.
For some context, because I feel like if I schooled in Nigeria, I wouldn't be. So I don't school in Nigeria, so I need to add that, because when I left the country back in 2016, I don't think I've stepped foot in a church since then. So so I kind of had time to actually think. Like, because if you when you go there, it's like you go there for your weekly brainwashing.
Yes, now upload reconfiguration.
As it's like you go there for your weekly update.
I'm telling you.
So when you stop going, you start having time to think about things and reason why some things don't make sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't also help that the fellowships in my school, where majority of the Nigerians went, they were always so cultish, very, very cultish behavior. If you don't come to service, they'll stop talking to you. If you don't come to their church, they will not hang out with you. Stuff like that. It was very cultish behavior, and they were scamming the students. They would tell students that the Holy Spirit said they should drop $2,000 today, and the person would drop the money. And the person, there was this girl. They made her drop her entire school fees as seed. And she stayed home for the entire semester. Her parents got the police involved, but they couldn't do anything because she gave the money voluntarily. So it's not like she was coerced or forced into giving out the money.
God damn it.
Just the kind of things they were doing. And I mean, I was already having a very critical view of religion then. So I didn't even used to go to church. I was already very critical of it. So when some people around me started questioning it didn't take long for me to just be like, oh, this is bullshit. I'm done. So it wasn't really that difficult. I feel like a lot of people struggled giving it up.
Yes, sir.
It was almost like it was praying for me. It was like somebody was tying chains to my leg, and they were like, "See, take the key." The way I was quick to just leave, I was like, wait, so this is an option. I can literally not believe in this bullshit. Like, I don't have to just believe in something I cannot see. And like, I didn't know that like people that didn't believe it. Okay, so I remember. Oh yeah. I met one atheist before when I was like on the island.
Yeah.
I met one atheist. When he told me he was an atheist at the party, it was like a night party. So we were talking, and then I was like, "What church does he go to?" And he was like, "He doesn't go to church." And I was like, "Oh, so like you just don't go, or are you a Muslim, something like that?" And he was like, "No, that he's an atheist." And I was like, "What is an atheist?" I was like, "What is an atheist?" Like, I didn't even know what it was like. So he explained to me that he doesn't believe in the existence of a god or any god. And I was like, like, so you don't even believe in any of them? So like, I don't think I said anything bad to him. I just was, I was still taking it in. I didn't even change topic. I was trying to understand where he was coming from.
Okay.
So I think he was already ready to engage me with arguments, but I didn't understand what he was talking about. So I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I feel like that's why I don't go around trying to convince people with arguments, because I'm just like, when people are ready to get there, they will get there.
Exactly.
And if they want to get there,
there's too much. There's enough information.
There's enough. Do you guys like? If they want to, if they are willing to, you're not the one that's going to convince them.
Yeah.
I remember this girl, right? She was on Thea's Twitter like just a couple of months ago, and just like that, she's on Thea's Twitter, and she's the one that did her own research. Nobody came into her DMs trying to force her to leave her religion or anything. She's the one that took the step. So I feel like if people want to not believe, it's not up to you. You're not going to be able to convince them through Twitter bans. But I feel like sometimes it's nice, but you're not going to be able to change their mind. So you have to wait for them to get to that point. I feel like it was a very long journey for me, because I feel like the first time someone questioned it was like late 2018.
Okay.
And then like I was thinking about, and then it was like 2019. I started, getting very into this feminism thing, reading up stuff. I started looking at like religion's role in women's subjugation.
Yes, sir.
And that was the most difficult part of the whole thing.
Like how?
Because I was just like, what is more important to me? Because I have pride. I have too much pride for this shit. If it means I don't believe in this guy, I was just like, I just have too much pride. I know some women don't care. Like, they would rather believe in God than have some pride.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those women. I can't, like, I have too much pride.
Is it pride or more like dignity?
No, I think it's pride. I don't even know that, because I feel like some people find that there's dignity in fulfilling your assigned role on earth.
Okay.
No matter what that role is.
Yeah, understand.
So I was just like, I'm a very proud person. I have too much pride for this. And if this is what it takes to go to heaven, I'm not ready. I was really at that point where I was like,
wow.
If it takes me pretending to believe in this thing, because at this point I already was like, what do you mean by men are superior and women are inferior? Because you can literally see it everywhere. So I was just like, I don't even believe in it. So even if the Bible wrote it there in clear bold letters,
something is wrong.
Say, no, I don't want.
It's wrong.
So like, I was just like, I don't want, like, is this what it takes? So that was what was cracking it for me. I was just like, I was already ready to let that bullshit go. And once I just saw the other side, I was like, I'm done with you people. You people should go and choke.
Where was that? When did you finally make that decision? Which year?
Okay, yeah. All right, so I remember there was this evening. I was scrolling through Twitter. So somebody was like that, what books would you recommend for somebody that's struggling with their faith? And then I saw this book, God is Not Great, by Christopher Hitchens, right?
Okay.
So when I saw the title of that book, I was like, there is no way I'm not going to read it. I was like, there is no way. What do you read? Like, what is this guy going to write? I was so curious. So I don't like reading, so I usually prefer audiobooks.
Okay.
So I went to YouTube and I searched for the God is Not Great audiobook. So I saw a debate. So I was like, okay, let me watch the debate first. So there was the Christopher Hitchens debate versus some guy, I don't know his name, but he was the pastor.
Okay.
So there's so many, he has so many. So guy, for me to even watch this thing, I had to go and find one corner and put on earpiece.
Me no cast.
I was watching it on my laptop. No cast. Because how will I explain to anybody what I'm watching?
The devil's at work.
And even the title alone says enough. I was just like, So when people just started talking, I was like, I didn't even, you know the thing, right? The thing about learning is that it's so beautiful that once you put in effort, you actually see results. Because I remember then, that was 2019, I used to watch his debates, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't used to understand half of the shit he was saying. Because like there were some words that he was using, and I would have to stop and be like, what does that mean?
Open dictionary.
And I'll have to go and open dictionary. I have to go and do that. I didn't really understand arguments. I didn't understand fallacies. I didn't understand all those things. So I was just like, what is this guy talking about? So it was like, I was just listening because I was like, I mean, that's how people learn, right? You listen to things and then you pick up one or two things. Maybe the next time you keep understanding, more things and you understand better about what you're listening to. So I remember like that debate, right? When he was done, I just thought that, this guy was making too much sense. And the pastor now came in and he was just quoting the gospel. I was like, defend yourself. What are you doing?
Just the draw Bible. Yeah, trying to defend the Bible with the Bible.
And they'll drop me so condescendingly. I don't know that.
That's how they were trained now.
I feel it's part of their spirit. Like they'll just be like, they just get the bomb or something. They just drop it. Just expect everyone to scatter. I'm like, defend yourself. Yeah, this guy is dropping valuable points. What do you have to say?
Nothing.
And then they will just come and be quoting scripture. I'm like, rubbish. So I watched, I was not addicted. I think I watched all his debates on YouTube. I'm never going to lie. I was addicted. But I loved Christopher Hitchens. I like the way he talked. And he was using all these big words and things to challenge my brain. So I was like, what is this guy talking about? What is this guy talking about? And then I remember 2019 too, when I used to watch his debates because I didn't understand what he was saying. And I used to feel like a dunce. And I decided that, I was going to take a philosophy course. So I went and I took I took 2 philosophy courses on YouTube.
Okay.
And then I now took a more in-depth one that was videos from one university like that in the UK.
Okay.
So I took those 2. So now I won't say I'm a philosophy expert, but at least now if you mention those things, I've not heard of everything. I still some words that I don't know the meaning of. But now at least
you understand far better.
I kind of understand. Yeah, and the thing about this that now I even make arguments in my head. So I remember when I first came across the free will argument in theology, right? So I've never actually watched a philosophy video on it or any debates on it or anything like that. But I remember saying that I don't think free will exists and maybe there is another position to take. So that was what pushed me. I was like, what is this thing about? Because this is not what free will is. So what's the other thing? And then from there I started checking for it, and then I found that there was another thing called determinism.
Yeah.
And then from there I found there was another thing called, I don't know what that one that's half and half. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, so all this, there's words for everything in your head, because I know all these things are already in my head, but I didn't have words for them. So when you see people talking about them, they're using all these big words, and you check, and it's exactly what was in your head. It's just like mine. The human mind is so beautiful because nobody ever spoke to me about those things. I legit just sat down on my own. I made this argument in my head. And it's like, wow. it's like, wow. It's actually truly amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I feel like I'm in such a better place now. I know that, like, there's still pain. I still feel horrible sometimes. But, like,
that's being human.
Compared to how I used to feel then, I know, right? There's no way to avoid it. It's just a thing that will keep happening.
Yeah. But no more shame, bullshit,
I
and all that.
a lot more in a better place now. I feel like the first time, I feel like the day that I watched the debate was the first time I called myself an atheist. And when I did, I called myself an atheist for a month. And then I remember like something really bad happened. And then I just said, it was because I was calling myself an atheist. And then I was like, what? I went back to pray and I was like, God, forgive me. And then the thing was that it never went away. So like the bad thing was just there. And it was just there. No amount of time was going to make it go away. So from there, it's just like I just caught myself in that moment, attributing my suffering as a punishment for
becoming
my
an
stance
atheist
or my belief or whatever. Yeah, so it didn't make sense. I don't even know how. Like one day like that, I was just like, okay, like if this God wants to punish me for something that I cannot believe in anymore, because even when I used to pray then, I still didn't used to believe. I was just like doing it because
for doing sake.
It's something that I have to do, so that they will not punish me. That kind of life. I was just like, he knows that I'm a good person. I'm just like, even there is a God and this God is not there. This is obviously the plan that this God has for my life. So I'm fulfilling my plan. Everybody should relax. Like that's just it. Like I'm fulfilling the plan that He has for me. Because that's why I'm always like, how does free will exist? Because like according to the Christian God, I can't speak for any other one.
Yeah.
According to the Christian God, right, He has a plan for all of us.
Yes, now. And He knows the end from the beginning.
We're just living the plan.
Inshallah and vibes.
So like there's nothing really happening here that is out of His control or He didn't know what happened. So everybody should just do their own journey. Let's all do our good. So that's just good shot. So I feel that was the first time I started calling myself an atheist. So it was like a long kind of, living mental cages kind of thing. Because I feel like if I didn't have that period in my life where I was like free from indoctrination and stuff like that, I wouldn't have been able to sit clearly and think.
Yeah.
About a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I probably would still be very religious. Because imagine going to school at Covenant.
Oh, that's where I went now.
You're going to be... It will take the grace of God for you to live it.
Fire and brimstone.
Yo, that's what you want. Yeah. How are you an atheist now? Yeah? How are you an atheist?
I've been out of there for at least to be 10 years by June. I'll be July. So I stayed away for a while. Plus I stayed away from church for over 2 years. So I think that's even me staying away from church was even what helped me to start deconstructing.
Yeah, I feel like that really helps. If you don't have that period in your life where you just think about things for yourself, you just keep believing it. Like you never
config.
Yeah. I feel like I've met a couple of Covenant atheists. You guys are always very hardcore. It's like the school showing you.
I'm pissed off, man. See, you feel like fuck Oyedepo, fuck that nigga.
Yeah, the one of the things that I struggled with, like when I was deconstructing my faith, was I used to believe these men of God, right? I used to believe they were honest people, and they were doing what they believed was good.
Yes.
So when I started watching Christopher Hitchens, he used to call them, scammers, charlatans and stuff like that. And I used to be like, that was so weird.
Why now?
Like that. You see, I used to be like, exactly, why now? Exactly, like these people are not, just purposely being bad people. But then, like, when you actually now start looking at it without that veil of, you should not speak evil against them.
Yeah, touch not my anointed.
It really starts to make sense. Why are these people so fucking rich?
They have a lot to gain, so continue.
What do they need this money from? What do you need this money from? You are a man of God, so like you already promised a mansion when you die and you go to heaven, right? So why not just give out? Why not just give out all this money?
Oh yeah.
Why are you spending this much? They are building their generational wealth on top of people's desperation.
Yes.
And
ignorance.
Like, it's actually a very evil thing. Actually a very evil thing. It's like they're selling them a ticket to heaven, something that they cannot see, they cannot touch, and there is no proof that it exists. They're selling them this ticket and they're paying you because that's really the system in the Nigerian system.
You're paying for church.
You go to church and you see the ushers.
Yes, sir.
You see the ushers walking around with POS machine.
As the first day I saw it, I was in shock. POS in church. I was like, why?
I was like, it's never this serious, but
transfer. So you can come to church cashless. You don't have excuse. You must drop it.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, they're so rich. I mean, I heard that time that Oyedepo, I don't even know which one.
Oyedepo winners.
He was doing a church. He was doing the road to his church.
Yeah.
He was one out doing the work.
Too much banner.
I was like, where when I see this money?
They see him every Sunday.
Where when I see this money? Where? Honestly.
That massive cathedral.
So like, I really started looking at it, and I was just like, no wonder. Like, anybody that does not already like this religion thing, they will have an issue with this. Like, it's not some, like, I was just still looking at it with that eye that, these people are righteous.
No, the indoctrination now. Touch not my anointed. Me myself, I used to say in the old school, say Oyedepo is the only one that has sense. Like, he was untouchable. Him and Adebo. It was now when I left, when my eyes opened on this, I was now seeing everything. Like, when I even look back, Covenant University started as a sacrificial offering that members dropped a lot of offering. Like, imagine a family of 5. They came to church. They went home without their car. That was the only car. That was their seed offering to Covenant University. Only for those children to not be able to go to Covenant University because the school fees are too fucking high. So they were always angry at us whenever we came to church. The ushers were always so violent towards us. I was now wondering why. It was now later I now understood, because I was in the secondary school and I remember that most of the cars donated were our teachers. It was our teachers that were paying instrumentally to buy it off. They sold it to their staff. Seed offering, or the offering that was given to the church. They now sold it. It's really crazy.
The guy collected money from his members to build his own brand.
Empire.
His own empire. Such a wicked thing to do. But we can't talk about this because what are we doing? We're committing blasphemy. Who knows? It's just crazy.
I will talk. Because I spent 6 years in that school, so I have so much pent-up anger towards that ministry and that school.
People around you know about your lack of belief?
People know. Only my parents I didn't tell, because
but you've not told
they still have the leverage. They still have the leverage on me. I'm seeing their house, so I'll keep quiet for now.
The pains.
It's part of why I started a podcast instead of video. I usually do videos. As I usually do, I know how to do videos, but I chose not to do video because of them. They will surely see it because their friends might show them. They are pastors, so it's going to be a serious fight.
Wow, that's you're on it serious.
So the heartbreak is going to be very strong.
Do you attend service and all of it?
How they go church? I will just go. Form say I'm going somewhere. How they go church? What thing I want to do church? I'll still pay. I'll pay transport to go to church. I'll still drop offering. Where will they find money for streets?
Isn't it to your parents? Isn't it to your parents? Isn't the offering to your parents?
No, I don't go to their church. I go my own.
Oh, okay.
As long as I leave the house, they believe I went to church. So, I've been there. It's really crazy.
So, do your parents I don't even know what to say. Like, do they ever invite you for their special services or something? Do you go? Do people know you as pastors or others?
Fortunately now, they don't have their own. It's redeemed. They don't have their own particular church. So he's a kind of the pastor he does now is a kind of church. A road that is moving from church to church. They call it different provinces to do some kind of inspection. So he doesn't have his base like that anymore. So I think that's possibly, fortunately, if not, would have fought on that issue. We'll say I should come and do work in the technical crew, all those kind of stuff. So his own ministry now is kind of nomadic, so there's no reason for me to follow.
Okay, I understand.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you can feel Redeemer and Winners. There's a strong beef against them, personally. Now, you have shared your story so far now, and some people, they can relate with it, especially some feminists that Christian feminists might be able to relate with you on all your different experiences. Especially some of them have come across a lot of Bible passages
Christian feminists don't like me.
Eh?
Oh, I was saying Christian feminists don't like me.
But some might still be questioning now.
There's no way for me to critique, because this is the thing. When I come for the misogyny in religion, I come for it. Like when I come for the misogyny in their beliefs, then it becomes emotional and problematic. Yeah. So yeah, they don't really like me. I'm not sure they do.
Well, it's a few you met now, but some of them, they are going through that phase. They are having that battle in their head, but because of they have had one experience or the other, is what is making them to still hang on, even though there's all that bullshit of misogyny. So what will you tell that kind of person now?
Personally, I just feel like radicalism is needed in feminism, because like we just have to be radical about our views sometimes, because this world is so drenched in like patriarchy, misogyny, and all of that. Mm-hmm. Like the patriarchy is drenched in everything we do, almost every narrative, almost every stage of your life.
Yeah,
as a woman especially, like you would have to confront it. So you have to be very radical with your thoughts, your movements, how you analyze the world around you. So you can't just be moving around, trying to cushion the misogynistic rhetoric. Because look at the Bible, even from the first chapter in the Bible, the first book there, where Eve is created and she eats the fruit, and God is punishing her. I think there was even someone even alluded to the point that when God was punishing Eve in the Bible, he didn't even look at her face. I mean, he didn't look at her face when he was when he came to the garden. So the only time he looked at her face was when he was looking for Adam, because he already had that view that Adam was the head of her, and he was supposed to report to him about her activities and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
So even from the first book in the Bible, there is already a very problematic view of women. It's already there, it's already fixed. So the thing is that you can't really rationalize something like that. You try your best, you try and make it that Christianity has like this modern day Christianity where it's like they say that above all it's love. You can say that as much as you want, but people read the remaining chapters in that book. You can sit down and be saying that all is love, this one, that one, this one, that one, this one. When people need guidance, when people need advice, they go to that book and they read the chapters in that book, and in one way or the other, it informs their decisions, and they make decisions of the kind of things they see in that book. I made a post yesterday. I was like, I want a story of a woman in the Bible where her sexuality or reproductive functions were not a story. And I couldn't even find one. I couldn't even find one person. Every single woman in the Bible was mentioned because she was a mother, she was the wife of somebody, she was a sex worker, or she was a problem.
Yes. Something bad was about to happen to her.
Women were portrayed, exactly, something bad was about to happen. Or, she was the wife, she was auditioning to be a wife, she was the wife that did something bad like Queen Basti, the wife that refused to be objectified, so she was sent away. So that was a lesson to Christian women everywhere, that you should obey your husband. There's very, very problematic things there. And when people need guidance in their life, they go to that book, they read that book, they take in the things and they just inform their decisions. So if you're a feminist and you decide that that's okay by you, I'm side-eyeing you, but I'm not going to fight you. I just hope that one day you would, come to a point where you don't feel the need to coddle anybody's feelings to your own detriment. So you get to a point where this is not an important thing for you to uphold anymore because of any reason. If there is a God out there and he truly cares for women, the Bible wouldn't be the book that he would dish out to us. And that is just what I'll say.
I tell you.
So so that's really it.
That even this when you were saying about women being mentioned in the Bible, I remember when I just found out that Jacob had 13 children, not just the 12. He had a daughter.
I think he got Jacob was the one that married Rachel and Leah, right?
Yeah, he had a daughter.
He married their servant girls.
Yeah, no. That's why he had 12, and he had a 13th, a daughter. And all she was I can't remember, is it Dina or something? I can't remember her name. Dina, I think it's Dina.
I mean,
she was raped by some people, and the brothers now attacked and killed them, and that was the end of her story.
Even in the Old Testament, right, there are more stories there of women getting raped than stories of women doing any other thing. I mean, there was even a story about the woman that was raped and her body was cut up into pieces.
Yes, yes. Can you imagine?
There was a story of a man that, because this is the thing, right? I don't know if you remember that story where this man slept with this woman, but he didn't see her face.
He didn't see her face.
It's in the Old Testament. He didn't see her face, and she did it again or something. And when he finally saw her, he killed her. Because she was so ugly.
Yeah,
it's literally in the Bible. Yeah. I will find it. I'll find it and send it to you. But imagine, because I don't believe that was a consensual affair. Because imagine objectifying women to the point that you don't even need to know what they look like to have sex with them. You just pin them down somewhere and you just rape them.
No.
So that was the world that those people were living in.
God damn it.
And that was something that was sanctioned by God. And that was
carrying that book. They're carrying that book up and down with pride.
It's so problematic. I don't know how. I was in a clubhouse one day, and somebody was talking about the Ifa tradition, and he was talking about his problems with the Ifa tradition, and he said that they use blood, they use animal blood to do their rituals and activities and stuff like that. And I was like, Christians go around wearing a chain with the dead guy hung on it.
Exactly, with the torture device where what he was killed.
I don't know why you think that is okay, but then this guy cannot just cut a rabbit's neck and use the blood for what he wants to do. I don't know why you think one is okay but the other isn't.
They have the invisible blood of Jesus. Blood of Jesus. Blood of Jesus.
They walk around with bottles of water that they have assumed to be the blood of some guy. Mm-hmm. You go to their house and you see a sticker on the front door telling you that the house is covered in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a problem when traditional worshippers use blood.
It's crazy.
Do you really have a problem with blood? Or are you just a colonized Nigeria?
Seriously,
it was just a funny room, honestly. It was such a funny room. But yeah, I hope more people just, because the answers are literally out there. I don't even want more people to be atheists, because
why?
I don't want more people to be atheists without actually arriving there rationally.
Yeah.
So it's like quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some people say some rubbish.
Just because you are atheist doesn't mean you have sense, no?
As in at all.
There are still many things one has to change their mind on besides the belief in a God. That's all the question. That's the answer atheism gives. I mean, that's the question atheism answer. Do you believe in God? Yes or no?
No.
It doesn't say are you smart or are you stupid. So you can say no, but you are still stupid.
I see all these people saying things that atheists are like, I don't like whenever I see even my mutuals, they'll be saying stuff like, atheists are this, atheists are. You can't make those kind of statements, but you can't. You just really can't.
Atheists are like cats. You can't group them.
Exactly. Like the only thing you can make a blanket statement for us is that we don't believe in God. That's it.
That is the only commonality.
Really, I've even met atheists that believe in some form of spirituality. They just say that God is not the central part of it. That one was the one that I really had to think about.
What the fuck
that
is
was
that?
The one I really had to think about. He's on atheist Twitter, right? But then we're talking, and then he was telling me about he believes in juju and witchcraft and all this. I was like, hey, what?
Yeah, are you sure that's an atheist?
There are powers out there. It was like there are powers out. I feel like a lot of them are just anti-Christians, right?
Yeah. Because where's your evidence?
They are looking for a community they're looking for a community that would accept them, and that's fine. I don't even debate them. At least those ones, they are willing to let go of some problematic, parts of theism.
They're on the last stage.
Because the thing is that the Christian community will not take them with those ideals. So
now devil worshippers, they will call them straight.
Exactly. So atheists are more accommodating to their questions, their beliefs. So they are more likely to engage with us than to engage with theists.
There's one more I wanted to ask. So you have been an atheist for over a year now. Have you 2019?
Yeah, over a year now.
So if I'm a brand new atheist, still questioning or kind of just trying to fully understand, trying to fully understand this whole atheism. When you become a new atheist, there's still that anxiety and fear that have you just fucked up your life? Do you understand? So do you have can you recommend any resources, maybe like books, videos, podcasts that you may have listened to that you feel that one might benefit from?
Well, okay, so this is such a loaded question because I feel like it's a very relative. It's a loaded question with a very relative answer. I can't really tell you what exactly would be
just a suggestion
okay for you or what would be a resource. But I will tell you like what me I did. And how I helped myself get out of that place, because I know that place where you're very confused about a lot of things. And I'm still very confused about a lot of things. There are a lot of things I don't understand. And that's fine. I feel like I've gotten to the point where like it's okay to not understand everything. Exactly. As long as you keep trying to learn and you keep trying to build yourself, and that's fine. So like the internet is the best thing that ever happened to mankind. First of all.
Best invention of this human race.
Yeah, because I can't imagine, because there's some things that are so small that I just think about and I Google it and the internet gives me an answer.
Straight.
There's so many things that we wouldn't be able to understand or even relay information without, a resource like the internet. Because imagine, let's say we didn't have the internet, right? And they're doing all this research in America. How is it going to reach a place like Nigeria? How are we going to be able to read about it? How are we going to be able to know about it?
Never.
So all it does is that it leaves us in the shadows. And when people are in the shadows, that's when things like religion come up.
And shadow plenty for this Africa.
As in, so like I remember I was talking to somebody and they were like, that why is it that people still believe in juju and witchcraft if it's not real? And I was like, okay, where are the if you look at the areas where people most likely believe in these supernatural forces or these powers that they cannot see, they're usually in areas where people are very uneducated and very poor. So you look at the villages and stuff like that where they don't have access to healthcare.
Yeah.
So someone will wake up, fall sick, and in 3 months the person is dead. And they associate it to be an arrow, a witchcraft arrow.
Village people.
If someone, there are village people out there, checking on them and stuff like that. And why did they do all of this? Because they can't afford to go to the hospitals to get tested. They can't afford good health care.
Yeah.
So they probably got a disease that is actually very curable, very diagnosable and curable, but they are not able to speak to their problem because they are living in poverty.
Yeah.
And they are also very uneducated, so they don't also know how to address a lot of things. So that opens room to a lot of ignorance. And what ignorant people do in Nigeria is that they associate their ignorance to some form of another world where none of us can say the spiritual world.
Spiritual there.
So anything we don't know of, anything we can't explain, it must be spiritual. It must be something higher than us. So yeah, that's what we do here, and it's very problematic. So the internet is your best friend. Go to the internet if you have any questions. Yeah. Also, try to be very emotionally aware. I feel like the internet is everything, because I remember like when I was trying to learn a lot of like emotional intelligence. So this one is not really attached to atheism. I feel like you shouldn't let atheism become the focus of your life either.
Yeah.
There's nothing to gain here. So just find other things that make you happy. Get hobbies, whatever it is you like doing, if you say that you like battling PS on the internet, feel free. It's also a very interesting activity.
Enough dopamine
So,
rush.
exactly. So if that's what you like doing, if that's what makes you happy, feel free. Find some things to do to distract yourself, because I mean, living is literally just distracting yourself till you die. I don't know how else to make it sound. I can't make it sound palatable. But the thing about hearing something like that, is that I know when I was 18 and I would be crying about how my life sucks. And my boyfriend then, right, he would say things like, life sucks for everybody, it's not just you. And I was like, this stupid guy, is this what I want to hear at this point? And I'm like, it's not just you, it's everybody. Life sucks for everybody, get over yourself. And then, that's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted somebody to tell me that, oh, it's going to be okay, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But, over time, like, I just started to understand this fucked up world more. Like, I just understood that, shit sucks for everybody, man. But, there are those little bits of happiness, and we just keep chasing that till one day we're gone. And
we are gone. When we are gone, we are gone.
Whatever you can. So just enjoy it for now, because, like, when you're gone, like, really. And so, like, nothing really makes any meaning. Just enjoy what you have now. Take it by the horns. Do what you want to do what makes you happy. And also keep other people's happiness in mind, because, like, the kind of energy you put into the world is what you would see. So I'm not somebody that believes that if you put that good energy in the world, it's just bounce back. I don't feel like that's possible. But if you put that good energy in the world, one way or the other, it will come back to you, because when people are just good to each other, it has that bounce effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be a good person. I don't know. Use the internet if you have questions. If you there's this resource on YouTube, the School of Life, and I feel like they have a lot of good videos that teach like emotional intelligence and understanding why you feel. The School of Life.
Okay.
That's the name of the YouTube page. The guy is from the UK, so he talks a lot about emotional intelligence and building who you are, and understanding why you feel the way you feel. And especially if you're somebody that's into romance, he has a lot for those people.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Like, why won't your girlfriend talk to you? Do that kind of videos you like, has those ones too. But if you're looking for stuff just to understand the world around you and yourself, and he's also an atheist. So that is also, so he doesn't speak about it from a spiritual or supernatural background. And I appreciate that.
For God is love. For he that loveth not is not of God.
I really cannot. I can't even stand that kind of advice right now. Like, please give it to me straight. Like, all those rubbish. It's just rubbish.
Just makes you cringe.
He does love nice videos. Yeah, and those are the things. I feel like you just keep finding things to entertain yourself. If it's love or whatever it is, if it's a girlfriend, whatever it is, invest your time in your school. If you're in school, read your book. I don't know, make money, chase life.
Money is important. Money is important.
I can't give you any other. Yeah, money is very important.
Yes.
If you don't have money in this life,
you suffer.
Things will just be unnecessarily difficult. It sucks. It really does suck, especially in Nigeria. I think that's why somebody made that tweet saying that Nigeria will turn a hardcore atheist into atheist. I don't know if I agree with it. Into atheist, right?
Oh.
I don't know if I agree with it, because I don't know if there's any way in my life to become so difficult that I'll even start believing in anything. If anything, I'll be more angry at the world and how
I'm more pissed off, because I was like, why is this country getting worse? And we pray for this country every day. At least if Muslim or Christian, one of them is correct, you should see their lives getting better. But everybody is fucked up together. What is going on?
Everybody is fucked up. Like,
that's when I started like, almost something is wrong somewhere. That was what made me to stop going to church.
Nigerians to go to church to go and pray for Nigeria. Don't see where we are. Why we are where we are today.
Why we are where we are. That's why we are. Yes, so Rita, I really enjoyed this our time. So we are going to talk more on different topics from time to time. No, especially that I don't know whether we'll collab one or another day. on this Bible passages of misogyny. He plenty. He plenty. It is too much for a feminist to be a Christian, but indoctrination is a bastard. Indoctrination is a powerful force. Thank you for listening to this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. So if you are yet to subscribe, please consider subscribing on Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcasts. Then also, if you'd like to share your story, please send a DM via Twitter at Atheist Ranting on Twitter. Feel free to send a DM and we'll work out with your schedule on how we can have a meeting so that you can share your story with us. Have a lovely week and catch you in the next one.